First of all, thanks for taking care of our chickens in our absence. Generally, I try to get out here between 8 and 9:30 in the morning. Typically, it's right around 9 o'clock. But when I come out, the door, this white door, is shut. Every night you want to shut this door. It is a little bit of a sticky door. In other words, it's pretty tight in there. So, especially at night, if when you push it in there, you can tell it's going to be pretty tight. You don't have to jam it in there. Just get it shut far enough to keep the chickens in, and at least try to keep all the heat in there. Any heat that might be in there by the chickens. But when you come out here in the morning, you'll open the door and you'll go into the coop. This light should be on when you get here in the morning. It's not on right now because I'm using the electricity to record this. But all the chickens will be in here. There should be 13 hens and 1 rooster. And so what you want to do is just open up this latch right here and check their feed. Sometimes if there's a little feed in the middle, you can kind of shake it like this. I don't fill this up much more than maybe 1/3 of the way. If you do need to put some feed in it, there are 2 bags of feed right here. Here's a scooper right there. Just go ahead and fill the scoop up, put some feed in the scoop, and then stick it right down in there. Scoop it out, stick it right in there. This is the waterer. You want to try to keep this and make sure they have water in it. I think the weather will be such that it should not freeze while you're gone. I'll show you here in just a minute how to empty this waterer. As you can tell right now, got a couple ladies I think, in a couple of the nesting boxes. What you'll do then, so make sure they got feed, make sure they've got water, make sure the light is on. You might want to check the timer, and depending on what time it is, this is the time mark right there. You want to make sure that that's set to the right time, and it only turns one direction. And I've got the timers there. You'll be able to hear it if it's running. If it's not running, you might have to trace the electric cord and just make sure that's plugged in. If for some reason the timer stops working, no big deal. Don't worry about it for a few days. This then is how you get into the roosting box. Just open that up, and there's no eggs in there right now, but there will be probably here in a few minutes. We just chased one of the ladies out. Make sure you always shut these and close those up. Once again, just check in there. Whenever there's some eggs, pull them out. By 9:30 or so, you might have a few eggs. If you come back then in the afternoon or the evening, you'll have more eggs. This is an important part. This door here needs to be shut during most of the day, and at night especially, we'll make sure this is shut. But what you'll need to do in the morning when you come out here, this square right here will be up inside this hole. Okay, see, it fits right nice, real nice, right up in there. And then you stick this fence post, just lean it right up there, and that's good. So when you come out here in the morning, this square will be covering that hole. And so after you take care of all the business inside, just come out here in the chicken run, and you can go ahead and let them out like that. Open this door up just like this, and generally the chickens are ready to jump out at you. And then I always just set that square right there, upright. Don't stick it down on the ground or else you'll get poop on it, like it's got poop on it right now. So then at night, whenever you close the chicken run up, make sure you put this square back in place. So you want to make sure that you've got the white door closed during the day or at nighttime, and this at place. The chickens will come back, will actually roost when it starts getting dark. The chickens will roost by themselves, so you don't need to chase them back in there. They'll go in themselves. Again, to put this back in here, pretty self-explanatory. Just fits right up there. You might get a little poop on your hands, that's okay. It'll wash, you'll live. And then stick this right there. You don't have to jam this down in, just lean it. That'll keep them in there. So you got that. As you can see right now, because it is daytime, the chickens are already in their run. This is another chicken waterer. Let me show you how you do this. It's obviously a vacuum filled. Just a minute, Thatcher. It's a vacuum filled. I will have I'll have several boxes or several buckets of water here ready for you. And all you'll need to do then is, if there's still some water left in here, in this vacuum fill, in this feeder, just a minute, bud. Okay. You'll need to, this screws off, is what happens. Okay. And you'll see that when I screw it under it, all the water comes out. So the way that you fill this up is when each morning, depending on how much water is, if it's halfway full, you don't have to come back and fill it up until this afternoon. But if it's getting pretty low, then you want to make sure you just dip this down in there, fill it all the way up, just like that. Flip this bad boy over, turn it around. You want to screw it on. Make sure you screw it on correctly, and it shouldn't screw. It doesn't screw on very hard, and then you just want to carefully tip it over like that and grab it. Just I'm able to grab it like this. You might have to grab it by the base as well. And then come over here. You always want to make sure you have the door shut, or else the chickens will get out. And then stick it just like that, and it will water it. And so you want to do that to the one inside and this one out here as well. Again, it unscrews, fill it upside down, put the red thing on, screw the red thing on, come in, flip it over, and you're set. As far as this, what you can do, I always like to keep the chickens penned up during the first half of the day. That way it encourages them to go and lay their eggs in their nesting boxes. When I know, since you don't have school, if at 12 noon or 1 o'clock you want to come over here, what you can do and let them chickens out, all you have to do is just open this up and open the door, and they will run free. And they typically, and you can just keep the door open, and that way they can have access to the water, get back in the feed. If they still need to lay an egg, they can lay an egg. But I do that, again, generally early afternoon. And then they will roam around the farm, and our neighbors don't mind if they get in their backyards, so don't worry about that. You don't have to stay here. The chickens will they will stay around here, and they'll just peck and eat. And then they will actually put themselves back into the hen house when it gets dark. So there in the evening, sometime after dinner, after it's dark out, or as it's getting darker, you can come over here, and they will have put themselves all the way back into the hen house and will be roosting in there. You'll want to just take a quick head count. Make sure there's a total of 14 chickens in there. If you're missing a chicken for some reason, you might want to double check the nesting box, because sometimes they'll hang out in there. But you should find 14 chickens each evening and each morning. You'll see I've got some corn, some ears of corn laying there each morning if you want to. The corn, I actually keep the corn in a bag. There'll be a couple bags of corn laying in here, and I keep the bags of corn right there. And you can just grab an ear of corn, maybe 4 or 5 ears of corn in the morning. Don't throw it at the chickens, but throw it into the chickens, and then they will enjoy pecking on that throughout the course of the day. Typically I check on the chickens 3 times a day. In the morning, once in the morning, I feed them, water them, and then check the eggs. And then around lunchtime I'll come out, or generally it's Thatcher who comes out and will check on them, and then he'll let the chickens out, and then they just roam throughout the rest of the afternoon. Early evening they will put themselves back in, and typically after dinner I come out here. Again, it's after dinner, but it doesn't, if it's 6 or 7 o'clock, whenever you're able to get over here, then you can put the chickens, just come close them up. And so when you're closing them up for the night, they should all be in there. Put the square back in place, put the fence post right there, lean it up, and then also, excuse me, Thatcher, make sure all your latches are closed, and then just shut the door. Again, it doesn't have to be shut all the way, just close it enough to try to deter any animals. So during the day, just go ahead and keep it open. Unless it's raining, then typically I will leave it shut. Again, there will be an extension cord over here, kind of here at the corner of the door, up here to the timer, but it's not there again because I'm recording. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. And even if for some reason the entire flock dies or gets eaten, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. We can get more chickens. I'm not going to fret over it at all. As far as the eggs, take them, enjoy them, do with them as you like. So thanks again for taking care of our chickens.